Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into a seriously massive collision course happening right in the tech world. We're looking at the intersection of our current data security infrastructure and the absolutely incredible, highly disruptive power of quantum computing. We're going to talk about securing tomorrow's data today. I want you to imagine something for a second. What actually happens when the absolute strongest digital locks we currently have are just snapped instantly? Imagine a world where the encryption protecting our entire global infrastructure, our banking systems, and all our private enterprise data is just rendered completely obsolete overnight. It sounds like science fiction, but it's actually a mathematical certainty that the tech world is racing to address right now. To put the sheer scale of this problem into perspective, cybercrime is already projected to cost the global economy an absolutely staggering $10.5 trillion by the year 2025. Trillion with a T. And guys, that is just the financial baseline before fault-tolerant quantum computers even fully arrive on the scene. The stakes have literally never been higher. All right, let's just quickly glance at our roadmap for today. We'll hit the emerging quantum threats, breaking RSA and ECC, the hidden firmware vulnerability, hardening the device foundation, and finally, post-quantum security standards. Let's get right into it. Okay, Section 1, the quantum threat emerges, the ticking clock of cybersecurity. So, the defining strategy of this entire threat is a concept called harvest now, decrypt later. You might be sitting there thinking, well, quantum computers aren't fully operational yet, so we have plenty of time, right? Wrong. This is a massive digital Trojan horse. Hackers are scooping up and hoarding your highly encrypted data right this second. They're stockpiling it on their servers, perfectly content to just sit there and wait until the quantum key arrives to unlock it all. Your past and present data is already at risk of future exposure. Moving right along to Section 2, breaking RSA and ECC, the encryption showdown. Right now, practically everything we do relies heavily on cryptographic algorithms like RSA and ECC. And hey, for a classical computer, even a massive supercomputer, it would literally take millennia to break those. But a fault-tolerant quantum computer operates on completely different principles of physics. What takes a classical computer thousands of years to solve, a quantum computer could shatter at a terrifying speed. We're talking potentially in mere minutes. Our current digital armor is just simply not built to withstand quantum weapons. Which brings us to Section 3, the hidden firmware vulnerability, going way beyond the OS. And here is the absolute real danger with all of this. Quantum attacks can entirely evade our traditional security tools and remain completely hidden even after a total system reinstall. Why? Well, because these threats have the potential to target digital signatures and actually forge firmware. If an attacker pulls that off, the malicious code lives underneath your operating system. You can reboot a million times and it won't clear it. It remains totally undetected right at the device's core. So what do? Section 4, hardening the device foundation with security by design. John Rose, who's the global CTO over at Dell Technologies, really hits the nail on the head here. He flat out states, quantum computing will break the encryption and digital signatures protecting data today. It's just a reality. And the leaders in hardware aren't ignoring this. They aren't waiting for the sky to fall. They are actively redesigning architectures from the very bottom up, knowing that the foundation itself absolutely must be secured. So we're actually starting to see some major structural changes to fight this. Dell, for instance, is introducing quantum-ready security features directly into their commercial PCs starting in 2026. This involves heavily hardening the embedded controller so it can validate firmware updates using quantum-resistant signatures. By doing this, they're basically preventing the controller from ever accepting malicious firmware, which slashes supply chain risks right at the source. In practice, this whole enhanced verification process is totally seamless for the user. When you boot up your device, the system immediately checks the BIOS against a trusted reference. But here is the kicker. That trusted reference isn't stored locally on the machine where it can be tampered with. It's locked down off-device, securely in Dell's cloud. If there's even a slight mismatch indicating a forged signature, boom, the device is flagged, and your security teams get an immediate alert. It's a seriously complex, post-quantum aligned back-end process working constantly to protect you. All right, final stop. Section 5, post-quantum security standards, adapting to the future. So the crucial takeaway here is how we actually map our current vulnerabilities directly to these new post-quantum solutions. For your data in transit, the standard is heavily moving toward TLS 1.3 encryption, which perfectly aligns with strict NIST requirements and is already being implemented in enterprise backup systems like Dell's PowerProtect data domain. For firmware updates, like we just talked about, the fix is quantum-resistant digital signatures. And for unstructured AI data, which is obviously a massive, highly valuable target right now, organizations are extending managed detection and response directly into their AI platforms to spot anomalies and close those massive visibility gaps. So I want to leave you with this really critical question. Your data is being harvested today. Are your devices actually ready for tomorrow? Look, the quantum threat isn't waiting around for the tech to be perfectly polished and operational. The attack strategy is already in motion, right under our noses. Upgrading to a quantum-ready infrastructure and post-quantum standards isn't a someday project. It is an absolute immediate necessity. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and I highly encourage you to go take a hard look at your own hardware and security protocols through this new quantum lens. Catch you next time.